The Democratic Republic of Congo faces new violence and instability. M23 rebels have taken control of Goma, a key city in the east. This follows days of intense fighting. The rebels, allegedly backed by Rwanda, have caused widespread fear and displacement. The situation is critical, with reports of casualties and a dire humanitarian crisis. The M23 claims to fight for the Congolese Tutsi minority. The DRC government and the UN accuse Rwanda of supporting the rebels. Rwanda denies these allegations. The international community is deeply concerned about the escalating violence. The capture of Goma marks a significant escalation in the conflict. The city is a vital commercial hub. Its seizure is a strategic win for the M23 and a blow to the DRC government. The international community faces the challenge of responding to this crisis. The situation in Goma is a stark reminder of the complex issues plaguing the DRC. It highlights the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. Failure to do so could have devastating consequences for the DRC and the Great Lakes region. The world is watching, hoping for a swift and peaceful end to this violence. The capture of Goma by the M23 rebels has triggered a humanitarian crisis. Thousands of civilians are fleeing their homes seeking safety. They are escaping the violence and the fear of being caught in the crossfire. Many are heading towards internally displaced persons camps, already overcrowded and under-resourced. Hospitals are struggling to cope with the influx of wounded. There is a shortage of medical supplies and staff. The situation is particularly dire for those with chronic illnesses, as access to regular medication is limited. Aid agencies are finding it increasingly difficult to operate in the city. The security situation is volatile, and access to those in need is restricted. The violence has disrupted essential services. There are reports of power outages, water shortages, and limited food supplies. The closure of businesses and the disruption of trade routes have exacerbated the situation, leaving many families struggling to meet their basic needs. The fear of looting and violence is pervasive. The humanitarian crisis in Goma requires an immediate and coordinated response. The international community must provide urgent humanitarian assistance, including food, water, shelter, and medical supplies. It is crucial to ensure the protection of civilians and the safe passage of humanitarian aid. The international community has condemned the M23's seizure of Goma and the ensuing humanitarian crisis. The United Nations Security Council has called for an immediate ceasefire and the resumption of dialogue. Regional and international actors are urging Rwanda to cease its alleged support for the M23 rebels. The United States has called for a peaceful resolution to the conflict and urged all parties to respect human rights. The European Union has echoed these sentiments, stressing the need for dialogue and a negotiated settlement. Neighboring countries are also urging restraint and calling for an end to the violence. President Felix Tshisekedi of the DRC, in his first public address since the fall of Goma, is expected to address the nation. He has cancelled his participation in a planned virtual meeting with Rwandan President Paul Kagame. The international community awaits his address, hoping for a strong message of peace and a commitment to finding a lasting solution to the conflict. The situation in eastern DRC remains tense and volatile. The international community must remain actively engaged in diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation and prevent further violence. A coordinated regional and international response is crucial to address the root causes of the conflict and bring lasting peace to the region. The crisis in the DRC is deeply rooted in its turbulent history. The M23, formed in 2012, stems from long-standing ethnic tensions and resource competition. Named after a 2009 peace agreement, the M23 claims the government failed to implement it. Their capture of Goma in 2012 led to major international intervention. The intervention forced the M23 to withdraw, but issues remain unresolved. The recent resurgence of the M23 highlights the fragility of peace. The crisis threatens to destabilize the Great Lakes region. A multifaceted approach is needed to address the conflict's root causes. This includes political dialogue, good governance, and economic development. The people of the DRC deserve a future free from violence and fear.